think you're live.
Oh, just making sure we weren't frozen, Jeff. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, we are in fact live. And I do see it here. I'm going to bring up this video so I can watch all the comments, make sure we're not missing anybody. But welcome back to the Total Arm Wrestling Show. And we are, what is this show? The Year in Review.
Year in Review.
The Year in Review. Jeff, where do you want to start? It's been one hell of a year.
Well, I'm sitting here looking in front of me, and after this show, I'm going to decide. We can put it out to our viewers. Is it Red Tassel tonight?
Ugh.
Okay. Or Uncle Jack?
What?
Or do we go with a little spice and eggnog?
Okay. So you went to the liquor store and you said,
no, that's in my cabinet already.
Okay, you went to the cabinet. So at some point you went to the liquor store and you said, give me the cheapest, crappiest bottles of booze that you could possibly give me.
Okay, you're insulting. That is not.
You know what your issue is, Jeff? You want to be American so bad.
You know what? That's actually that's not a. I get every time I go down to the States, I feel like it's my home away from home, and I really enjoy it down there. I enjoy the people. I love almost everything about it, to be honest.
I feel you. I got you.
I'm a Canadian at heart, but I really enjoy the United States.
Yeah, me too, man. If I'm being fully, completely honest here, me too. Now let's hope I didn't kill the whole stream here because I just made changes to the back of the video while we were talking. We got to talk about Patreon, my man.
Let's get it done.
It's a very special episode. So let's go through. We'll read the High Society guys out too, because the High Society guys have been supporting us for a long time. There's only 3 of them. So it's the second highest tier of the basic supporter levels. So we got Stan Scott, Ward Drake, Curtis Mocan. And then we'll read out our alpha guys as per usual. Ready Go Solutions, Jeff Frank, never heard of him, Bruce Williz, Barbarian Armwrestling, Bryan Koerner, Jon Umpherville, and Mr. Gary Roberts. And if I had the air horns, I'd blow them for all those guys right now.
Yes, thank you very much, everybody, for all the support. It's much appreciated.
Yeah. Preacher Arm Wrestling says definitely Jack with some Coke.
How about Jack Straight?
You know what I got upstairs?
Try Jack Straight.
I got a brand new bottle of Proper 12 Irish whiskey.
Oh, see,
and I could go.
Now you want to call me? I was gonna be. I got to be
degenerate. A degenerate with your Jack Daniels. Take a swig of it, Jeff. Come on. Keep going. Lighten you up a little bit.
Yeah. Oh, see, nothing. Oh, like that's got the smoothest taste.
Curtis Mocan says Jack and tequila and a little skim milk.
Oh.
Which is the weirdest thing I've ever seen in my life. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Anyways, so yeah. What was 2020? What events did Canada have this year? I know we had, I guess, 2.5 events here in Alberta. I think that's all we had. We had the Lethbridge one back in March, and then we had that little camp out, and then TAL one. Anything else go on in Canada?
Yes, there was.
I know there were some super matches.
Listen, we had an event. Well, wasn't there Fit to Fight? Did Fit to Fight have any events?
Oh, I don't think they had one this year. Or did they have one early Jan? I can't remember.
Man. I'm also trying to look back and see what the date was on my event I ran in the spring. Now, if I'm not, it's so long ago, but we ran an event here in Portage la Prairie where we did that open weight that was seated by.
Oh, that's right too. I remember that.
Yeah. We seated it by weight, and we had no weight class. It was just one open weight all the way through. I'm trying to find the date on that because I think it happened right before the world shut down. At that point, we didn't even know COVID was a thing, really.
Yeah, I think it was. Well, I know the one we had in March, COVID was just kind of starting to take off, and we did get that event down in Lethbridge. That was a really good event.
We did it in February, so February was the date, and it should be the second annual coming up. I'm just throwing my pen around here, but it was an awesome event, and I think it was the last one that Manitoba held. And then we had there was one kind of Game of Arms style event that was held on the down low out by Niverville a couple months ago. That if you guys went to, there were some super matches, and it was basically in a guy's yard.
Oh,
yeah.
So
anyway,
yeah,
man,
it was a little
bit back. Let's go back. Armed Crossfire was a thing until May the 23rd. 2020.
Armed Crossfire with SB and Gobby until when?
Yes. The final episode aired on May the 23rd, 2020.
So what happened there? What happened with the show?
There wasn't like a huge. I mean, I know everyone thinks there was some big falling out between Gobby and I, but there wasn't. We decided to take a hiatus. It was getting to be a little bit of work, and man. Gobby says a lot of things online, and some of them are pretty cringeworthy. And I just, between everything and the fact that I got kind of tired, and we had lots of scheduling issues to try to work out, our show was never consistent with the time. But we just took a break, and the break turned into indefinitely. And I haven't spoken to Gobby since. We just stopped the show.
Now,
and the final guest was Mike Gould at episode 50.
Awesome. Great guy. Great guest.
Yeah. Despite all the bullshit, though, and the stuff that goes on with Gobby and his trolling and stuff, we had a lot of really amazing guests on that show. We've had a few come on this show that probably wouldn't have come on the other one. And then we've had some guests come on where the quality of what they came on and did was much, much different between the two shows. And I don't want to compare them both because we could do that all day. But, for example, Cobra coming on, Crossfire and Cobra coming on with us last week, big contrast. Yeah.
But I mean, with Armed Crossfire, you can't deny that there was some really good content, and some of the ones that I really found extremely good was the whole thing with IFA and WAF when you had Rick Pinkney and you had Anders. I can't remember who you all had on it. Did you have Joey Costello?
No, Joey declined, as did Simon.
Right.
That was actually probably my favorite few that I did. And that was the one day that Gobby couldn't make it. It was the day I was on with Murcha. And it was just him and I. And, I went at him pretty good.
That was an awkward one with Simon.
It was awkward because, he told a lot of
bullshit.
Alternate facts.
Bullshit.
On that show.
Let's call it what it is.
Alternative facts.
Yeah.
And I think it opened a lot of people's eyes. Those few shows were pretty valuable, I think, in that decision for many countries, actually, deciding which way they were going to go, whether it was WAF or IFA.
Do you think IFA, I don't mean to switch subjects, just while we're talking about it, do you think, Do you think IFA is going to miss the quality of pullers without the likes of the Kazakhstans, the Russias, the
Both
Ukraine?
organizations are going to be not full strength.
Would you agree that the quality of athletes is still under the WAF banner?
Not entirely. Not entirely. All it takes is like one superstar to win an IFA, and all of a sudden you have the debate, right? So the gold medalist isn't over here, he's over here. But it was the same thing that happened when WAF split in half. You had two organizations. One of them rose, one of them fell. But in the meantime, world titles in one of those organizations was pretty easy to come by. Now, it's a tough situation for an arm wrestler because those world titles might not be held in the same regard as WAF world titles from years gone by.
Well, I think there was a lot of scrutiny on that when the first IFA happened and people claiming they're world champions. I think there was a lot of people.
Here's the deal. So you had I'll give you maybe a counter argument, but World Arm Wrestling Federation split in half in 1998, and you had a world championship. I think it was it was somewhere, Egypt or something. Egypt, I think. But we had WAF, the old WAF over there, and the new WAF, the World Championship, was in Thunder Bay, Ontario.
Right.
And you had Canada, the United States, Brazil, Japan, United Kingdom, and I think that was it. So it wasn't many countries represented. But you have the likes of Marcio Barboza, Neil Pickup, Earl Wilson, Yoshi Kanai, all winning or doing extremely well in the World Championship. Now, one or two guys in every single one of those classes were killers, but third through 10th, maybe not a threat anywhere else.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah. And I went as a spectator, FYI, in Thunder Bay. It was a very small event, but it was pretty cool to be a part of.
Yeah, it's on my bucket list. As soon as we're up and running again, I think Joe Fox and I are gonna attend Zloty and stuff like that, and try to hit maybe even both IFA and WAF if it's permitted. If you can do that, I don't know with all the new regulations under the WAF banner, but
as long as WAF is first.
Yeah.
Because IFA is not banning anybody, but WAF might.
Yeah.
Robin Chandler says the women are better quality on IFA. Well, it kind of depends. It would have been very telling. This year would have been very telling. Like, where's Gabby going? So far, Brazil is affiliated with WAF.
I know, talking to Gabby, she with the Red Deer Charity Classic, she had mentioned that her entire Brazil team was looking at missing the Worlds in order to attend the Charity Classic. So I would presume she would be under the IFA.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
I think
that's what it is. I think professional arm wrestling has risen. Okay? I think amateur arm wrestling, which I don't mean amateur in a bad sense, but the World Championship, just like the Olympics, are considered an amateur sport.
100%.
So, keeping that in context, when you are running an event for a beginner, don't call it amateur, call it novice, because amateur means something else. And every Olympic Games, we have the top professional basketball players from the United States enter an amateur tournament.
Yeah, same with hockey.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Now,
interesting.
We had around March, full lockdown. I started firing up this my own channel because Arm Crossfire was separate. Mm-hmm. It was its own entity. We did it all. Since then, I've migrated all the content over. Started to do more vlog entries on this channel. I had the subscribers. I didn't have the views. April 24th, I started a little show called Friday Morning Live, and which evolved. And by episode 15, which was July the 31st, Jeff Frank comes on the show, joins the broadcast, which eventually became a permanent thing. You know, when you decide to show up and everything.
Yeah, I got a better attendance record than your ex.
What?
When I show up,
What are you talking about? You talking about Crossfire?
yeah.
It was only like one show that he missed.
Come on.
Guys
You guys were jumping around like a ping pong ball all the time.
I solo with Underwood for sure.
Yes,
Who else
but I
was
mean, listen. I think I should have a pretty good case here with running the TAL event.
Yeah, okay. I'll let you off the hook. I think at the time the merch episode, Gobby was gone because there was a snowstorm in Quebec and his internet was out. So it is what it is.
It is what it is. You know, honestly, I've had a lot of fun, and I honestly look forward to doing this every Friday. I hope there's a good progression here with it, and
brings us to that point. But finish your sentence, and then we'll talk.
I forgot now. You just cut me off.
Sorry, man. That happens. I feel like Gary Roberts now. We do that. We're doing the Friday morning every week.
This feels like an episode where I should just continue to drink.
Well, why stop now? We you threw me off now. Friday morning. We're going to do Friday mornings all the time. That's what we've been doing. We've varied that a little bit. And when we have had to vary it, we've normally recorded the episode and released it on a Friday morning. We're experimenting with this tonight because we're thinking about moving the show to an evening show. Is that an accurate statement?
That's accurate. I think it would be better for the show. I think it's more like primetime television. You're going to get more people engaged in the chat. I think
Yeah, and I guess tonight is not a fair experiment because doing it once isn't going to I'm reading the comments, man, isn't going to tell us a story. We have to do it with some consistency.
Yeah.
And hopefully we get we're actually going to be competing with Beauty and the Beast here in a few minutes, but stay here as long as you can, folks. That one's recorded. You can watch it later.
They do their show tonight?
It's scheduled to go live in 13 minutes. So, yeah, I usually don't miss it. I like to be involved in the chat over there, and we support each other's channels. But, yeah, here we are. Show 15, you came on board. Here we are at show 39. 39. 11 episodes to go. And we will be the longest running show on this channel.
Nice.
Yeah. Maybe we collaborate. We'll talk to Uncle John. We'll talk to all those other guys and see what nights they want to post, and we'll try to keep them separate.
Well, I think Uncle John does his on Wednesdays.
Yeah.
I really don't know. Jody Williams, he's kind of random, isn't he?
Jody's kind of an afternoon guy, I think.
Is he afternoon?
Yeah. But his is on Facebook, and
yeah, he does a Facebook Live. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
His show is one I always tune into.
Yeah, and he doesn't monetize it, which is interesting. I mean, he just does it because he loves it.
Yeah. I like Jody's show. I really do. I like the content. I like how I find it really easy to watch and engage with.
Yeah, I kind of like it too. I like the content that's out there. The year in social media and YouTube for arm wrestling has been exceptional, not just with the content that's being posted as far as tournaments go, but this kind of content has been at an all-time high. That's a great thing.
Now, what's your thoughts on you're talking about social media here? I want to get your thoughts on some of the, maybe let's call it professionalism in the sport with some of these posts that are coming out. What's your thoughts on that?
What do you mean?
Let's talk about. Let me talk. Okay, there was one the other day, and I mean, maybe I see this in the wrong light, but I think it's just, as athletes, I think it's very unprofessional. And the one with, now I'm not trying to say I don't have a sense of humor, but I think there's a line, and that was the one with Barry Bourne and Paul Italia, and I thought that was very distasteful. I'm sure
I didn't like it. I didn't like it.
No, I don't. I don't know. I don't get it. Like, if you don't like somebody, you don't. I mean, why fucking post it all over Facebook? I don't get that. I think it's cheap. I think it's completely classless. And
it's interesting. And I'm cutting you off again because that's what I do. That's what I do. Engen and I were chatting this morning, and he just made it very. He talked. He takes so much shit when he blocks somebody on Facebook. They usually go and make a post about it, but he says, I get people talking to me all the time. He goes, if I don't agree with you and you decide to, attack me or argue with me, why don't I just block you? Why do I waste my time? So that's what he does. He has no time for anyone that's just trolling others. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Now, the Paul Italia thing, I mean, somebody drew a picture of Paul Italia. And
here's my thing with Paul.
I have never had an issue with Paul Italia. And
why would you? Like, I mean, he's just like anybody else. He's new in the sport. It seems to me like he loves it. He's just, I mean, call him what you will, but I mean, the guy just loves the sport. He's trying to get engaged like everybody else, and shouldn't be punished for that. Who cares what he posts? Who cares if he posts multiple pictures shirtless and this and that? Like, I don't know why people get so offended by that.
Well, if you don't like it, block him from your profile. You don't have to talk to anybody. You don't want to. And he seems genuinely trying to build the sport. So
I think so.
Yeah. I got no issue with that whatsoever.
Yeah, I don't know. And I mean, let's talk about what do you think about Chuck Ryder for a second. I know he gets a lot of.
You know what? Chuck Ryder is one of those guys that I do not have any use for, and I have blocked him from all my social media.
Okay, so there you go.
He went really hard at me trying to just troll, and I think the guy's a piece of trash. So I blocked him. I don't want to talk to him, and he probably shouldn't come and try to talk to me at an event.
Yeah, see, and I guess that's another whole thing is, oh man, I have no issue with people being cocky, being confident on Facebook and calling people out, but fuck me, man. There's a limit, man. Like, know your place, I guess, and keep it within reason. I don't know.
Listen, the guy's always wanted to fight somebody, and I don't know whether he thinks that arm wrestlers are a group of people that are going to be intimidated, but generally they aren't. So I just don't have any use for the guy because he came at me unprovoked. Had he had a legitimate reason for a beef with me, wonderful. Fill your boots, man. Maybe I have some something I did to the guy at some point, but none of that was true. It was just going at me, just trying to, whether he's just trying to troll or whatever. But I just blocked the guy. Like, I don't need to talk to him. I don't need him in my life.
Yeah, I understand. I was really disappointed in a show the other day that I seen. I know you and I talked about it, and I don't want to get into names, but why the things people say to cover their own ass just fucking blows my mind. Like,
Listen, You're gonna have to elaborate because nobody here knows what you're talking about, buddy.
I'm just
But I'll
talking to
tell
you.
you, people's perception of reality is different, and what they think is true. In some cases, like, listen, you got Barry Bourne out there. He might not be full of shit. He might believe his own story, and that makes the guy need professional help, right? Because we know there's no Bourne Street, there's no world champion title in his repertoire.
Sure, but does he need to be? I don't think people need to fucking bury him in the ground for it.
Need to, but I mean, this is similar to when they put Dabo on a show and they start asking him a bunch of deeply personal stuff and get him doing the Dabo act, right? The guy is, and you met him.
I met Dave. He's
he's not
fantastic guy.
It's almost like he's playing a character.
Yeah.
And we're violating the rules of kayfabe here because maybe he just wants everyone to believe that he's that guy. But it is what it is.
When I spoke to John Dable, I sat with him and he genuinely regrets what happened with Scott Wynn. You can tell. He's not proud of that.
Scott got over it. Scott got over it pretty quick. So I think the rest of us have to.
And he just keeps getting. I just see a different side to people, and some people are just ruthless. Like they just.
Yeah, we live in outrage culture, my man.
We have a what?
We live in outrage culture.
Yeah.
Mark J says, "Were you and Cobra alluding to Todd Hutchings being overrated?" No, that is not what we were alluding to. In fact, I don't really know where the comment's coming from. Winston Hughes says, let's talk about positive news. Let's do that. TAL 3.
Okay, let's just jump back. I want to talk something really positive right now, and that's Jordan Sill.
Well, yeah, he might be.
I'm saying this now. Look out for that guy in 2021.
Hey, listen.
If he stays at 240 pounds, that's a serious, serious bad dude.
So if you were to pick the arm wrestling awards, like the breakout star of arm wrestling 2020, you basically got one event to go off of. It has to go to Jordan Sill.
Yeah. He
shows up, he destroys everybody, and he goes home with. He looked like a machine, first of all.
Oh.
If that guy shows up at all future tournaments, it's going to really mix things up in whatever class he decides to.
I seen Jordan Sill twice. When myself, Matt Mask, Ali Hamadia, Joe Fox went down to Portland. I seen the 205-pound version of Jordan Sill, and he does not have the frame to deplete his body weight like that. He is a naturally big guy, and I'm telling you right now, at 240 pounds, I'm telling you, he is he's a top contender in my eyes. I don't like to make predictions, so I'm not going to do that. But I think he's right up there with the elite right now.
So who would you pair him up with?
Oh, I think right now, outside of WL, I think Jordan Sill and Lachlan Adair would be a fantastic match, and I want to do that one for TAL.
Okay, now I know why you want to do that one for TAL, but what have you seen from Lachlan Adair other than seated curls that would give you any inkling that he could hang with Jordan Sill right now?
Oh, yeah, I should have had my paperwork. There was, because I do have one, but I can't remember. And maybe he can. I just think it's an intriguing match, and I don't know.
Or are you putting Lachlan Adair in that match because he's gotten so much attention lately, and that he's going to bring eyeballs to the match?
Well, there's no doubt that it brings eyeballs to the match, and I'm talking outside of WL. If it was inside of WL, I think right now Marcio Barboza and Jordan Sill would be a great matchup, even though I think Jordan Sill wins that. As of today.
If Lachlan can translate it to the table, but I mean, if all I got to do is go and do some curls in the gym and record it to get in a marquee matchup, I don't know, man. I'm not a believer yet. We've seen it happen.
He might get crushed.
Yeah. When is SP pulling again? Winston Hughes says. Listen, I don't know, man. Like, we're code red in the province of Manitoba. We are technically not supposed to have anyone, even at our homes, that don't live here.
Same as Alberta.
We can't go anywhere. We can't eat at a restaurant. We can't gather anywhere. You can't even have too many people on an ice skating rink, or you get tackled by the cops, especially if you're from Calgary, Alberta, Canada.
Oh, my God.
But, and if I go to the States, I got to quarantine mandatory 2 weeks when I get back, because Manitoba does not have rapid testing.
Alberta does.
Yeah. So I would go to, for example, I would go down to anywhere in the States. I don't have a salary. I make a commission. So if I can't do anything for 2 weeks, it's pretty tough, man. I don't think I can do it.
I got to interrupt you for a second.
You didn't interrupt. I actually finished my sentence.
There is one other guy that I think we forgot to talk about that could get. What was your award you were giving out?
Breakout Star of the Year.
Corey West.
Yeah, that's true, man. Corey's been to a lot of events in the States.
How did we forget Corey West? If there's anybody that broke out this year, it's that guy.
Yeah.
I think Jordan Sill shocked a lot of people, but if you want to talk about breakout, I think that award goes to Corey West this year.
Yeah, no, I think it's consistency. Yeah, I believe you. I believe that's true. It's yeah, that's a good one. Now we got a couple of questions here. I want to get this one in before we start talking about match of the year. What are your thoughts if Brzezinski isn't going to compete in 95 kilo top 8, Todd Hutchings taking his spot? I like it, but here's the thing. You're probably right that Jon isn't doing that, because from Jon's own message he sent me within the last week, he said he's done arm wrestling. Now, I don't know if that means forever. Usually it doesn't. But, with time going on and all the COVID restrictions, maybe he is. Todd Hutchings taking his spot, I would love to see it happen. I just don't think we will, because Todd Hutchings is under contract with the World Arm Wrestling League.
Yeah, 100%. That won't happen.
We got match of the year, buddy. Match of the year.
Oh, boy. So, oh, man. We had no WAL. I don't was there any I'm trying to think of Mississippi State. But I don't know. I think if you want to take crowd intensity and all that into play, I think Cody Merritt and Robbie Topi has to take it. And I'm not saying that because it was my event. I'm just saying the energy that match created was nothing like I've ever experienced. Now, I'm trying to think of Mississippi State because they had some good super matches, but I just can't remember if one really stood out as a great match. Help me out.
Well, I was thinking that Michael Todd versus Mark Gay might be the one to go against it.
Who? Michael
Todd versus Mark Gay.
As match of the year?
Yeah.
Okay, you must be on something.
No. It's yeah, you're right. It's Cody versus Robbie as match of the year. And what makes it interesting is not just the fact that Cody broke his arm in the second match, but the way it broke,
Yeah.
where it almost looked like, and I talked to Cody about this, it looked like a chunk of bone actually broke right away on both ends
It did.
where his bicep tendon attaches, and he still managed to win the match. And I asked Cody the question, how did your bicep not actually rip that piece of bone right out of the skin? And so the doctor told him that he had built up the muscle around it so much that it acted like a crutch, or a cast rather, acted like a cast around that arm when he was arm wrestling against Robbie. So it is incredible that he managed to salvage that match 3-0, but in wars. And it showed that Cody can be diverse in his style, because he couldn't just top roll the guy anymore. He kind of stopped him and ended up pressing for one of those matches.
I think two of them he pressed him.
Yeah. Sill is probably too good for Lachlan, in my opinion, because Sill has more experience, at least equal strength, but giant hand dimensions like Brzenk. Interesting. Jeff Miller.
Old Jeff Miller. How's it going, Jeff?
Yeah. So, yeah, I think match of the year goes to Cody versus
I think Dave Chafee and Corey West would have been right there too if Corey didn't tear his bicep. I think that would have been very interesting.
Yeah, I agree. Mocan says, Jeff Frank, who would you put Dan Mosier against? And we were just talking about this in a TAL event. He cleaned up in Mississippi.
Oh, man.
Mosier's a tough one to match up.
He is very tough.
You never know where he's at. But here's my opinion, and I said this to you. I believe Ryan Bowen has been calling for that match for some time, because Mosier kind of smoked him when he went over to was in Australia, correct?
Yeah, I don't like that match though. I really don't. I think Joe Fox and Ryan Bowen's way more intriguing than Dan Mosier and Ryan Bowen. I have to go overseas to find a really good, interesting matchup.
Or you could just pull from any WAL guys. Maybe Rob Vidgen Jr. comes and pulls Dan Mosier.
Yeah, but I don't think that would happen. I think that's a great matchup, but I think that's a WL matchup.
I'm not sure if it is.
It may not be, but
is Mosier a guy that would sign a contract with WAL?
Yeah, I don't know.
Or is he one of these guys that doesn't want to do that? Because then you got Herman Stevens out there as well. If you're going to run a tournament down there,
we'll get to that.
Yeah.
What is Dan's weight?
I don't know. Comment section, help me out here. I think he's sitting 200 or just a little better, isn't he?
Okay.
Why do you ask?
Well, I don't know. And I here, hold on a sec here. What about Jake Abbott?
Jacob Abbott, left-handed, I would say yes.
I can't. You know what? Here's the thing: is I have my sheets right here. Where did Jacob Abbott? Jordan Sill just eats this up. Okay, well, that wasn't a very. So Jacob Abbott finished first in the 220 division, open, right. But he didn't have a whole lot of competition. Where did he pull Todd Hutchings?
Left-handed at your event. Yeah, left-handed. He might have pulled right-handed as well. But
okay. So yeah,
Chandler says Mosier cuts to 198. So there you go. 200-pound guy. Find a 200-pound guy to go against him that's top-notch.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's very intriguing. I think our RBJ is one that's right there, but Yeah, I mean, our RBJ is the logical answer. I'm just not. Man, I just keep thinking Europe for me.
There's a million matches you can make, right?
Yeah.
So you said let's get to the other one later. Herman. How are you going to match Herman up?
Well, I don't know if Herman can even pull. I know he's still going. He wants to pull. I know he's interested in pulling, but he's dealing with a lot of his stuff from the hurricane with his house.
Yeah.
So I don't know if he'll be ready by March. Has Dan and Herman pulled?
I don't know. Robin, help us out here.
Because I mean, that comes up. Joe Fox just said Craig Toulier and Dan Mosier.
Yeah, that's interesting. I mean, I'm getting kind of on the hype train of Mosier here. I think that he matches up pretty well with just about any of the American 200-pounders right now. Mm-hmm. And great things to come for him.
Yeah. I mean, it'd be shocking to me if Dan and Herman haven't pulled, but maybe they haven't.
Robin says I don't think so, but yeah, that'd be an interesting match. Or, what are you thinking about doing with the tournament coming up? Are you throwing? You ever got any plans to throw some money behind the tournament?
Sorry, say that again. I was just reading Cody Merritt's message.
What's Cody saying to you now?
Good evening, sir. If you are in need of more matches for your TAL3 card, I should be able to pull right-handed at that event. If you have someone in need of a right-handed match, Cody is my man. You want to see, they build them different in the United States. Corey West goes.
Be careful now. Be careful.
Corey West comes off a torn bicep, comes back and beats Wayne Withers. Incredible art. Cody Merritt disintegrates his bone. Continues on to beat Robbie Topi. I'm always impressed by the heart. Justin Bishop really instilled that in me. That guy, just the fire in that man is insane. I don't know if I've seen that in too many pullers as a fire in Justin Bishop's eyes. It's motivating.
Yeah.
To say
absolutely.
The least. But sorry, I interrupted you. You were saying something.
I don't know where I was at, man.
You're talking TAL3, maybe?
Yeah, I was asking if you were going to throw some cash in the tournament. Cash prizes in the tournament.
Yeah, man, what to do there? I have to clean up TAL2 first and get all that squared away. TAL3, I don't know what to do, but it's going to be different in terms of trophies. So I gotta figure all that stuff out here after Christmas. Unfortunately, I know it's going to piss a lot of people off, but it won't be in Canada.
Let's talk about that for a second. You took some flack about not having it in Canada, but you can't.
Can't do it.
So,
and we don't know when we can do it.
Why are there complaints about something you have no control over?
I don't know. It goes back to the whole thing, I guess, with what we're talking about before. And hey, listen, I'll shoulder anything. I started this league, and I know it's going to come with some negativity. There's going to be some haters. There's going to be some doubters, and that's fine. I mean, I wish everybody would just. I mean, the majority of people do, but everybody just needs to understand. I'm restricted by government, and that's just the way it is right now. It's tough. TL2 was a shit show the last week in terms of whether it was somebody coming around with jaw sheets not being able to come because of COVID. That happened with 2 people. Whether it was the trophy, I still got to ship a whole box of trophies sitting at Robbie's house that came. I got another table sitting at the border that needs to go yet, and pads to go for the first one. Like, it's just, there's a lot of cleanup to do. There's still some payouts that need to be cleaned up, and stuff like that. So But yeah, TL3 can't happen in Canada. We can't do it. We especially can't do it here in Alberta. We're on lockdown to January 13th. Let's just say that more than likely goes to 6 weeks. That's the way it is. It's way worse than the first one. So I would assume that it's going to draw longer. So let's say they implement phase 1 in the same timeline. That was 3 months after lockdown. So that puts us in April. I think by the time we're allowed to have gatherings, I'd be shocked if we were able to have them by summer.
Well, here's the deal. We got nationals happening in Winnipeg in July for us Canadians.
Yeah.
That should be the focus on most of the Canadian arm wrestling community, getting to that tournament and seeing if that tournament happens. If that does, then you can do whatever you want. But otherwise, they're going to have to happen south of the border.
Yeah. So TL3, I'm planning for March. Now, I don't know because I do not want to interfere with Bryan Koerner's event, March 13th. And I got to do my research. Who else has got stuff going on? But Brian's a good friend of mine. I don't want to beat anybody's event, but I know Brian likes to pull a lot of guys from the south. So, and I say that because TL3 will be in Benton, Louisiana, USA. Brendan Lemon Mulvihill versus Dallas Langston is probably going to go, and Brendan Lemon Mulvihill versus Daniel Worley left hand is a certain. And now there's other talks with the super match. I got to go back and talk about the guys that had super matches before. So there was plans of Evan Burgoyne. I had Harley Marchand, Sam Pofker. All those guys were kind of planned. So I got to talk to everybody and see how it fits everybody's schedules, and also add in some other ones. And I know Jonathan Brita and Michael Gould is looking like that could go, or Ron Bath.
It's a good match.
Yeah.
The other one, we forgot one breakout star, buddy. Khaled Jashel.
What about him?
Breakout star of 2020.
Get out.
Are you? You know what?
That's like saying Jake Paul's a breakout boxer.
Jake Paul has got some skills.
Yeah, did you see him throwing toilet paper at Dylan Dennis? And the punk couldn't even get out of his back of his truck and fight?
Yeah, let's not go down that path. Here's one for you that people probably don't realize is Michael Bisping agreed to actually have a boxing match with both of the Paul brothers back-to-back on the same night.
Good for Michael Bisping because he would thrash them both.
The reason I brought up Khaled is because Jeff Lane says Devin versus Todd was the matchup of the year. A practice table matchup was matchup of the year. Don't think so, guys. Don't think so. It was fun to watch. It was interesting, but not match of the year.
Not even close.
Yeah. So
1 second, I gotta let my dogs out.
Yeah, you do that. And while the rest of you guys are sitting in the chat, maybe I'll clean up some of these matches. Robin Chandler says, "Get me a belt match, and you'll see someone motivated. Just do medals." Yeah.
Who wanted a belt match?
Robin Chandler.
Yep.
Brett is in the chat. Says it would be an honor to pull Mike Gould. Hope we can make it happen. I think it's an awesome match, actually.
Yeah, I think it's a great match. So Rita will. I really like the guy. I mean, I met him down in Kansas City. I went for breakfast with him and Shannon Shaw, and just great guys, and lots of matchups to be had there with him. I think there's a lot of intriguing matchups, and I'm hoping that TL3 will also see Matt Mask pull that hasn't pulled for a while too.
Well, yeah,
but we will see.
He is who he is, so we'll see what happens.
And Ryan Espy and Abu Regavasheli. Is that how you say it?
I don't know. First time I ever heard his name was when you said it. So.
He's a bad dude, man. Abu Rekvasha. You just Google him.
Yeah. Well, we ready to put a bow on this thing?
Heck no.
No, you want to keep going? Want to keep chatting her up because you're half in the bag?
Nothing finer than Uncle Jack.
Yeah. Jeff's got problems, ladies and gentlemen. All right. What else do you want to cover before we hit the road here?
What's your plans for 2021, bud?
Well, I think I'm probably going to continue to be stuck in Portage la Prairie, Manitoba, under the training, under the coaching of Mr. Engen Terzi, and I will continue to get stronger and refine my skills by myself until COVID is cleared up. And then when I am unleashed on the table, it will be devastating fashion.
Preacher Arm Wrestling just asked, so TL 3 and 4 still happening as of now? All the TL events are still going to go. It's just how they're going to be classified.
Yeah.
Because
we're not going to skip. We're not going to go right to 5.
Yeah, like so 4 might TAL 4 might become 5 on May 1st in Arkansas. It all depends. It's just going to be a lot of juggling, a lot of communicating, and it's just have to be patient and see where it all goes.
Winston Hughes says, I want to see Ryan get shredded during lockdown. Well, the weight has fluctuated a little bit, but I'm back on track. So you might not see shredded, but you might see 3 1/4. We'll see. Things are going in the right direction. And
yeah.
Who knows when lockdown ends, because it's Christmas. And my kids are, my youngest daughter is.
Hey, I want your opinion on something.
Treats. Hey, I'm talking about my kid here. She's making me all kinds of treats, and it's very tough to not.
Finish.
To not eat those treats. So, it's Christmas time. I might take a step back over the next week. But anyway, go ahead. What do you want to ask me?
So I've also been. I'm asking for your opinion here. So I've been getting some flack too about TAL belt matches. With some of the belt matches not being against somebody that's a ranked TAL puller, and I'm just not.
We already have that league. Fit to Fight has a feeder system where the class winner is guaranteed a belt match. Now, let's give you an example. The only control that Kane has over that event is, he has none. So the champion, let's give you an example. I'm the champion in the left arm super heavyweight in Fit to Fight. I hold the belt. I will pull anyone that won the previous previous Fit to Fight tournament. Yeah. In this case, it's Steve Gaber. I have pulled Steve Gaber 752 times.
Exactly.
And never lost a match. But he's the next guy that I will defend that belt against. Mm-hmm. If you don't maintain creative control over these matches,
100%.
The only time that tournament mattered was when you established the champions. Now it should be like the UFC, where you pick that guy that you're going to put into that belt match. It should not be a guaranteed shot based on how you do in tournaments.
Yeah, no, and I'll be completely honest right now. As I continue to build the Total Arm Wrestling League, one of my objectives is to build interesting matches for now. I want to establish this league for a period of 1 year before I have more of a ranking type system, and you can call it a feeder system, I guess. But for right now, I just want to make intriguing matches. Now, I certainly want to give people a shot at the belt that have pulled in the tournament, but that just may not happen. We haven't ran enough events to make that logistically sound for every single belt holder. Now, so yeah, I mean, that's just where I'm at with it. I just want to make good, solid super matches. Whether it's just a super match, maybe it's for the belt, I don't know. But I just want them to be intriguing, and as this thing continues to grow.
Like, how do you not take a guy like Jordan Sill and put him in a belt match?
100%. Well, he also pulled the tournament.
He did. But I mean, let's face it. Based on where you are in Canada or the United States, winning that tournament shouldn't guarantee you a shot at a title. It's just not the way it is. Those two things should be kept separate. Mm-hmm. That's my opinion.
Yeah, and it's a work in progress. Like, it sucks right now because California is pretty much like Canada. They're a blue state, and everything's shut down there, so the belts are held up, being built, being delivered, and stuff like that. But once those are all done and we continue to grow, I really want to start replacing these belts with like nice belts. Like, like these are nice belts, but I'm talking really nice belts. Like, just start weeding them out over the next few years and getting some really, really nice belts in place. So it's all a progress. I just ask everybody to be patient, and it is what it is right now, and we're doing the best we can. And
logistically, I mean, you got a problem with the fact that you have so many belts. You have every weight class in the Open and Masters. That's a lot of belts, man. How many classes in total?
20.
20 champions. It's hard to maintain.
What do you mean?
And keep people interested, because you're only defending an average how many per event?
Well, yeah, but that's because we can't have very many events right now.
But would you have 20 belt matches in a year? Like, would you cover every class in a year period?
Oh, I fully intend on having 2 or 3, if not more, at each event. So that was the whole thing behind it. And like, it's all for the future. It's right now that may not happen, but my future plans is what I'm shooting for. And without disclosing a whole lot of craziness right now, I know the way my mind works, and I believe we'll get there.
Yeah.
And that comes from my job, and that's where that thinking that comes from. And I say this before, we used to build 16-foot by 220-foot long pressure vessels. Still do. We did not have the means to logistically build these vessels. Now just think about these vessels on hydro are over 1.5 million pounds. And when we first got a PO for this, we didn't have the means to move them. We didn't have the means to get them from manufacturing to blast and paint over to installation. And I remember my boss at the time saying, we have enough intelligent people in this room to take these POs on, and we're going to achieve this. Now, if you want to see what I'm talking, just Google large vessel built in welding and manufacturing, and you'll see the vessel I'm talking about and how large these are and the craziness that went into getting these from Innisfail, Alberta to British Columbia. I take the same approach into my league, and that's the way I think. Like, I'm surrounded by enough good guys, enough smart people to not really be afraid to take on these challenges. There's going to be hiccups, and I really don't care who it pisses off as we go. I know what my intentions are, and I believe I'm surrounded with a good enough team, an intelligent enough team to make some really good waves. If that makes any sense.
Makes sense to me, buddy. Bright things to come from.
If I were to say right now, this is my plan, you might say you're foolish. And I sit here and think, well, you know what? It may sound foolish at the time. How are you going to get there? I don't know right now, but I know I got a good enough team that will make it happen.
Well, I admire your passion and your perseverance. So the TAL is the place to be for 2021. And it might be the only place to be for the first half of 2021, other than the odd one-offs that happen throughout the United States. But I appreciate the effort you're putting into it, and I hope to be able to take part in the very near future.
Winston, you will be, and we got some intriguing things coming up for you with the likes of Michael Todd, Dave Chafee, Abu Regavishelli, all those, some big names for you coming up, and I know we'll make something happen. But Winston Hughes said, nice, and are you Canadian? We're both Canadian.
Yeah, some of us are more Canadian than others.
That would be Alberta, Canada.
Manitoba, Canada.
No.
Home of Winnipeg.
Let me tell you guys all something.
The greatest city on
The
earth.
further east you get, the less Canadian you become.
Oh man. That's a political statement by Mr. Jeff Frank, and he's
I'm just kidding.
politics into the show.
Evan's going to be blowing up my phone right now if he's watching.
Yeah, and he won't admit that we have the greatest prime minister that has ever lived. And no, you're not going to say nothing. You agree then? All right.
We have, yeah.
We got to put a bow on this one, my man.
Right on.
We will be back, and we are taking a break, but we're not taking a break that doesn't have an end. We're taking a break until January. Actually, you know what? We said January the 8th. It's going to be that week sometime, and it might not be on a Friday.
Yeah, that's right. So we'll fix a date. But Uncle John said, to that point, I live in Nova Scotia and I'm American.
Fair enough. Oh, what is my wife saying to you? Says the guy. Yeah.
Oh, man. I open up a can of worms there.
Yeah. Treasonous Jeff Frank. You know that's a crime, right?
Yeah.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. Merry Christmas, everybody.
Merry Christmas, everybody. Have a blessed New Year. Keep training hard. 2021 will be different.
And sometime the week of January the 8th, we will be back with episode 40. And don't know what that show is going to look like, what night it's going to be on, what day it's going to be on, what time it's going to be. But you'll see the marketing for it come out shortly before. All right. Merry Christmas, Jeff.
Merry Christmas, man. All the best.
Talk to you guys in the new year.
Out.